How's it going out there, Midnighters and Moonlighters? This is your closer-in-chief, back again, finally, with another check-in. It's been a little while since our last episode, and for those of you not keeping up with our posts about it, shame on you. For those of you who have been keeping up, unfortunately, management has declared all that information classified, so no, you didn't. But today's memo from management reads, "There is cake in the break room today. Everyone is allowed to know of its existence and eat some of it, except for Brenda in accounting, who may know of the cake, but may not eat it. Also, Anthony in logistics may eat some cake, but must never know it exists. You know what you did, Brenda. You know what this is about, Anthony. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha ha ha." Right. With those words of wisdom out of the way, prepare to finally clock into tonight's shift, the one that nearly broke me and absolutely did break my old computer. And hey, if you've ever stopped for gas mid-shift, only to hit the other gas station instead because that guy was working that night, hit that like and subscribe button, and this one's for you. What's up, Jolly Green?
What's going on, Big Chief?
What's up, Big Smoke?
Hey, what's up, Chief? I'm here.
So how has your guys' weekend, how did it go?
My weekend's been kind of crazy, but we're still alive and kicking, so definitely good for this episode. Definitely.
Is everything falling apart at the seams, huh?
Oh, yeah. From work, going home, going to bed, waking up, and coming here. This crap never lined up. It just messed up all the way around.
It's the perfect Murphy's Law meets Final Destination.
Yeah, this is definitely like the beginning episodes of Walking Dead. It's like when we wake up and everything's extremely messed up. You're like, what the hell? What's going on? You know, drinking water out of the pot, and dead people all over the place. Yeah, it's totally messed up. Yeah.
Don't dead open inside.
Yeah.
What about you, Jolly? How was your weekend?
Oh man, I'm probably in the same boat as him. But we're maintaining. We're here.
That's all we can ask, right?
Yes.
Here. Actually here.
Yeah,
Present.
here.
Yeah, here, right here where we're sitting. Yeah,
where we want to be.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So it's just been one of those kind of days. But it was like we talked about this the last time. It's like getting here was a journey. That's like jumping over pits, swinging through the vines, avoiding the jungle and the territorial apes. Just trying to get here. and then once you're here, everything's all calm and serene.
There's a nice little quiet space, a little oasis in the noise.
Exactly. Birds are chirping, It's like, it's a deal, man. It's a deal.
All right. I'm going to try something a little bit different this time. I'm going to set you guys up with a little bit of a scenario, just a one real quick, and see how that works out.
I'm down.
Okay. Doomsday clock strikes midnight. Bombs have dropped. Reports all over the major city centers getting hit and blasted. You guys are still out on your deliveries, still on the clock. What do you do?
Jolly, you first.
Do I come back to where I work? Okay.
You tell me. What do you do?
I mean, find a family, you know what I mean, and try to find some place to hunker down in, you know what I mean, which is far and in between. Probably just be with family until, the little bit you have.
I mean, bombs are hitting right now. What are you doing? You can see the little mushroom cloud popping off in the distance. It's just far enough that you're not in any kind of immediate danger, but shit just hit the fan. Today's the day. Today's Judgment Day. Everything we've been training for.
Probably go home and get what I can, you know what I mean, and just a little bit of crying in there too, you know what I mean, a little bit of sobbing. I'll just go home and try to pick some stuff up and get somewhere safe, Not really a safe place at that point, really, you can go.
Well, I mean, they talk back in the, what was it, the 50s, whenever the Cold War stuff was really starting to hit its peak, 50s and 60s, they did a lot of the shelter in place, hunker down kind of stuff.
Bunkers, if you had bunkers,
bunkers, or get between a couple of hilltops, is getting nice deep valleys down the riverbeds on the water, something that breaks the immediate shock wave that comes rushing through. What about you, Big Smoke?
Well,
first instinct, first move.
First instinct, I quit. I'll quit. I'm done. I head back to my apartment. I grab my 2 go bags. I go to my designated area that is approximately 22 miles away from the most populated area of this wonderful town that we have. And I shoot anybody who comes near me within the week and a half basis. I mean, I have enough ammo to carry with me at the time. I have my alternate forms of combat, which is my knife, my machete, my bow and arrow. I'm very good into archery now, up to about 50 yards. I'll kill you from 50 yards.
Nobody will hear it.
Yeah. All you hear is a and that's all.
Darkness.
And then you'll see the big black guy walk over you, retrieve his arrow, and continue on.
Hey, a good broadhead will get through, I think, even level 3 plates.
Yeah. I mean, and most plates are like only center mass, and I'm aiming for the neck or the groin.
That nice little clavicle shot right there.
It's right there. Nerve bundle is right there at the base of the neck. You're not moving. You'll see me coming.
That poor deer.
Yeah. I'll put you down nice and slither light with a good, nice throat cut. You'll bleed out, die in 30 seconds. No problem. And then, I'll hang out and I'll wait 2, maybe 3 weeks until everyone else kills each other off, steal, slaughter, and then, I'll pick up the pieces. I mean, that's standard data. I mean, people will watch enough apocalypse movies to know that that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, especially that first week.
Yeah, that first week,
everything just starts falling apart.
Yeah, wow.
So you actually watched the movie that I suggested to you. You watched Greenland, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that was a really good day of everything happening. Yeah. I mean, leading up to the actual event, the meteor strike happening, everybody just losing their absolute minds. Honestly, the best deal, like I was saying, you get down to that creek bed, you get some rocks on either side if you ride out that shockwave. If you can't get to an actual designated shelter, which I recommend everybody know where your designated shelters are, because I mean every city center has had them since the 50s and 60s, for something like that, and that's nukes dropping, that's meteor impacts, that's any kind of massive detonation that's going to happen. Yellowstone erupting,
we got a chance if Yellowstone erupts.
Yeah, you drop to your knees, you pray to whatever God you believe in, and you ride that out and hope you're still there.
Say sorry for all the evil that you did, because you're not going to make it.
Or try to get out on a boat somewhere or something. Get under the water and hope you don't get encrusted in underneath the. Oh God, that'd be terrifying. I just got claustrophobic thinking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then man. All right, so we talked last time about panic, fear, the chaos that brings on from people. Talk about staying away from major city centers. So, that initial impact hits, ride out the shockwave, you sheltered in place. So now, let's say you got your week of supplies is probably dwindling a little bit by now, and now you're out there in the middle of the farmlands and the woods and the no man's lands. What do you do after that?
That's when learning, how to hunt and live off the land, really, because, I mean, you're going to go into town and, as you said at the beginning, it's going to be pure chaos. It might still be chaos, you know what I mean? And everything that you would think, I'll go to the grocery store, there's some stuff left, it's going to be picked clean. You know what I mean? This is where life straws. This is where hunting. This is where things of this nature, what herbs you can use in the wild, what mushrooms can you eat, what herbs aren't going to kill you, what herbs can you use that is going to really help you get through it. But I feel like you just stay away as long as you can from populated areas, because that's just going to be a hotbed of violence. Just stay off the grid and try to just stay out there and get hunting and just hunter gathering and just try to make you get out there. You might have to go into town after a while, but just don't. Just don't.
So, Big Smoke, I imagine a week into the doomsday, at this point, you've already established yourself firmly as some kind of warlord.
I'm hoping.
I'm not going to say warlord, but I'm definitely going to have, I guess, my perimeter of which I'm territorial of. But for the most part, a week 2 weeks, you won't see me. I'll be out there, like you said, hunting, and more important than hunting, water. Herbs, no. I tried horticulture, as no. I was I actually made it to Eagle Scout, and I still have a problem with freaking poison ivy.
No.
Still, can I eat that? No. I know the knots, but I don't know the greenery, So, yeah, it's mostly just nuts and whatever dried meat I can do and water. Fat Boy is going to be really thin in a month because it's just basically, what can I consume that I've already killed and how much water can I, process, keep, get it as clean as possible and then drink it.
Yeah. Which people really underestimate the importance of knowing how to clean and purify your water.
Right.
A lot of people, they'll settle with just boiling it, and that kills most of your bacteria and stuff. But, charcoal filters, knowing how to make them. If you don't have quick access to charcoal, you can make charcoal with a fire. Yeah. And then you layer your sand, your gravel, your charcoal.
Yeah. But even, I remember when, what do you call it? Naked and Afraid came out. And there are some people, they swear that they're survivalists and stuff, and they don't. They are dehydrated within 48 hours. Because they didn't know how to purify water. There's this one guy who, I don't know, he was actually taking a dump right outside of their shelter. And I was like, what kind of survivalist takes a crap right outside where he sleeps? And I was like, wow. And then even the girl that was with him, like, what's wrong with you? Because there was that episode, she walked straight onto a pile of crap that he had just took a dump. And you're like, oh, come on, man. You're naked, so you got crap, nice, warm, saucy crap on your feet. It's like, oh my God.
Hope you ain't got any cuts or scrapes in your feet.
Yeah, and you're going to because you're barefoot. I mean,
some of those guys, I feel like they're survivalists where they're from. So they know their area or their territory, and then they drop these guys off in like the rainforest. Deep jungles.
Definitely depends on where you come from. You're used to deserts, used to rainforest, used to temperate. You know what I mean? And it's be totally different. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that's why a good many people are going to die in that first couple of weeks. Yeah. They're going to die, and it's not going to be because some idiot from apartment 4 breaks in and kills you. It's because you're going to starve to death. You're going to dehydrate to death, and then they're going to find you half eaten with your kittens. That's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, the very young and the very old are going to go first.
We've built up a system where, everyone has become so reliant on easy access to food, easy access to shelter, easy access to water. You take away even one of those and the system becomes so imbalanced, people start dropping dead. It really is that fragile. It really speaks volumes on the amount of infrastructure we've built up and what we've been able to do. But you look at third world countries, they would almost be better off in an apocalyptic event because they're already at that level of they have to clean their water constantly. They have to find their own food. They have to share resources in order to just survive.
Well, it's more prevalent than that. You got people who, like you said, they're basically third world living. Okay, so they're not drinking the most pure water. The bodies are acclimated to the water, not actually being that pure.
Extra antibodies and enzymes.
They're just designed. Their evolution basically says, okay, the water's kind of shitty. I'm going to filter out the thick stuff, and we'll keep drinking.
Oh, was that Bear Grylls? It was squeezing the water out of the elephant shit.
The elephant shit.
It's like, some people are just going to be. They're going to last out. There was a reason why Europeans couldn't go into the interior of Africa because, they just were a little susceptible to malaria. And the Africans weren't. Like, hey, you stay back here, player. We'll get those slaves for you. That's how that worked. And they knew that. So they did. That's how they operated. In this kind of climate, yeah. Little Johnny, who's about 4 years old, he's a goner. If he doesn't have a good dad who doesn't know how to filter water or get basic granary or if he can't kill and skin and, gut that rabbit, of which we have plenty of rabbits around here.
Plenty.
Yeah, I was saying something literally last night about that. Something's going on with the coyotes and foxes, man, because those rabbits and deer.
Yeah, we got a lot of deer. I mean,
I wonder if less people are out there hunting.
yeah, I'm missing a lot of deer on the highway. And it's like those first couple of weeks, we're gonna trim that fat. We're gonna get rid of a lot of deer, and a lot of it's gonna be messed up kills because they won't get the heart shot. They'll hit that deer in the stomach, which was going to ruin a lot of that meat. Okay, so
That's another thing. What was that? The movie with the dude who ran up to Alaska, Into the Wild.
Into the Wild. There we go. Yeah,
I'm so glad you said the name because I was gonna be like Forrest Gump.
No, there's a movie called Into the
he
Wild.
did do a lot though. That movie.
He did everything. He helped found Apple. You know, he just professional football player. Anyways, so Into the Wild is actually based off of a true story. A guy who documented his travels and everything, and he was basically left a rich, wealthy family, traveled across the U.S. hitchhiking the entire time, picking up odd jobs here and there. I think this was back in the 70s, 80s.
60s, 70s, yeah.
Somewhere in there, yeah. And so, between he hitchhiked his way across America and was heading up to Alaska. Finally gets up to Alaska. He finds some random hippie tour bus that was just parked in the middle of the woods. That literally nobody knows how he got out there.
Yeah.
There's no roads. There was, it was like somebody airdropped.
He called it the magic bus or something like that.
And so he was living in this place, and I think it was his first winter, he ended up dying because he didn't know how to hunt properly, didn't know how to trap properly. He found a dead moose, but couldn't cure the meat fast enough or correctly, and so the meat ended up making him sick. He ended up getting.
That's not what killed him, though. Here's the worst part that killed him. He was really into like processing herbs and greenery, and he mistaked one particular type of greenery with the kind you could eat. And the one he ate, it destroyed his ability to process anything he ate. So basically, he couldn't eat anything and get any nutrients from it. And that is what killed him. And his body was so well preserved, they figured that out when they found his body.
The contents of his stomach were still frozen exactly where they were.
His body was so malnourished and he was literally inedible that animals wouldn't eat him. It's like, he was like basically his final moments. He just laid up in his bed inside the bus and just expired.
Yeah, he was journaling the entire time and like keeping notes of what was going on.
That's what people think it's easy. Oh, I can tell. No, you know what I mean? I watched a video recently that showed two different mushrooms. Look the exact same. You could barely, unless you looked at it real close. One's healthy, a lot of vitamins, a lot of this. The other one will drop you dead within 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Sometimes the difference can be taste or smell, you know?
That's why they say do a little bit and put it on your tongue. Your tongue goes numb. No.
You start with your lip.
Oh,
outside the lip.
See, I'm already fucking. See, I'm dead.
already dead.
I'm dead. Yeah, right there.
Like I said, the greenery and stuff. Big Smoke's not eating that stuff.
Yeah, Big Smoke. You know.
If it don't go, bad or gallivanting across the tundra, Big Smoke's not eating it.
Yeah.
If I can't put my rifle or my arrow through it, and then I have to skin it and start slicing off some venison.
I mean, that's safer. If you don't know, then just stick to what you do know.
And that's the sticky point, right? Because people are so used to just going to the Kroger's or the Walmart and just grabbing that slab of beef and then walking home. They think that's where the meat comes from.
I remember seeing some videos. A guy goes in the supermarket and he's dressed up in the camo and the flannel and the orange and he's got a shotgun. He goes to the meat aisle and blam! So I only eat what I kill. And he dumps a bunch of meat into his cart. Yeah.
And that's the crazy part about it. And that's why it's totally off track. But I remember the very first 10 minutes in Zombieland. And you see that fat guy running across the football field, and and that zombie is catching ground on him. I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm not going. If there's a zombie apocalypse and that sucker, he's got wheels, I'm a goner.
You're really preying on the old, what was that, the Walking Dead there, the black and white.
Dawn of the Dead.
You're really not wanting the DayZ zombies, because if so, I might as well just lay down. Just let you have it.
I hear, belligerent screaming off the distance and fast footsteps.
Yeah, at that point, I'm going to die with breath rather than without breath.
You can either die or you can die tired.
Like Train to Busan. Those are some fleet-footed zombies, man. Those suckers ran you down. My knees don't work that well. There's no Can I run that fool?
Hey, get yourself. Listen, man. They cover this in World War Z. You know, you get yourself a full suit of knight armor with chainmail, so they can't bite through it, and you get yourself a bicycle. You become bike knight. you said yourself. You know, you doing your cardio with your little pedal. Thing
I do cardio.
Yeah, you can get you an e-bike.
Yes.
Get you an e-bike with a solar generator and a hand crank alternator.
But what was great about 28 days later is that dude, man. He had wheels, boy. He could run. I mean, he was in that church and he said, "Hey, can you help me?" And that dude looked up and he's like, "Oh crap! Hey, run away! Run away!" And he was gone.
That's scary when I seen that with the Daisy or the Zombieland.
Zombieland.
And it was like endurance. I was like, oh, that's me. I go up the steps and I get halfway up and I'm like, all right, you guys go ahead. I'm going to take a second.
Yeah.
See, speaking of Daisy, that's kind of how I play that game. Is kind of how I like to think that I would
operate
in this kind of scenario, because I go out in the woods. You know, I hit hunting cabins. I grab up the hunting gear and supplies, the camping supplies and stuff, and I just stay away from everybody. You get all these people that are rushing the military bases and the city centers.
That's hot.
And it's like, no, you're okay. Sure, you want to play real life PvP? Go for it, man. Right. I'm going to be out there in the woods, just living my best life. I'll have my nice little tucked away hobbit hole that nobody will ever find.
Like I said, I would be out there away from everybody. And if there happened to be a couple of guys going, hey man, do you got shoot? That's all you would hear. I'm not trying to play that. Let's be civilized and prove that we're human beings. Oh yeah, we're human beings. I'm gonna human beingly kill you.
Very humanely. I had a question. Would you put up warning signs?
No, because look,
just alert people to where, like, somewhere in this vicinity.
Yeah,
you put up a warning sign there. Like, hey,
there's someone here.
There's someone out here. How many of them are there?
I bet we can take them.
Yeah, I think, let's scope it out. Let's scout it out. See how many they are. And when their backs are turned, we'll put a bullet in his back. And no, player. You're going to be walking, and I'm going to be scoping out. How many are there? When they get in that 50-yard range, and they're sitting down looking at the ground.
So, as you said, only time they know is, hey, there might be someone here. Is that
what was that? That's exactly what's going to happen.
A little crack of the limb, and then
and then I'm gonna calmly walk over there. Oh, he's still alive. Hey, sorry, bro, I missed your heart. Here, take this little knife in the neck. Here. There we go.
See, I always like the force multiplier of setting up like the booby traps and stuff. Like, because I'm pretty good with ropes and knots. Just don't ask why the Raiders are all spread eagle.
Yeah. No traps. Because.
I mean, as long as you're not using like the poison punji pits and stuff, you can use them doubly. Yeah. So snares and traps for animals.
Okay. Like we see, this. Like I said, this stuff works in phases. It works in phases. The first month or so, the diaspora from the main populace is going to go. It's going to spread out.
Real thin.
They're going to, because some people are going to figure out, okay, we can't go around the people because the people are snake crazy. Everybody's. Well, for lack of a better term, they're eating each other. Because when you can't find something to eat and you don't know how to hunt, little Sally starts to look a little delicious.
What was that movie? That Terrible B movie that I ended up finding that you told me about? It was where it was the cannibals they had to hold up in the school. They were the one guy was by himself for the longest time, and then the raider group comes up and they're asking for help. Well, it was first the girl saying she was alone, and then she leads the other two guys there.
I remember the movie. The name escapes me.
They were somewhere in Europe, and they had formed the cannibal society, and then there was the people that were the not cannibals that had walled themselves up, and then there was this older couple that had this nice little house, and it was all fenced in and stuff, and they had the warning signs up. And they were pretending like they were this big group, but it was just
the Book of Eli.
Not the movie I'm talking about, but that's
it's similar. But Book of Eli, and then there's another one.
I'd say Book of Eli is much more post-apocalyptic. If we're sticking to like within
good movie by the way.
Oh yeah, great movie. But if we're sticking within like the first year or so after the event of whatever the cataclysm,
whatever causes the big boom or whatever. But I mean the ones that don't require like rampaging zombies. They all run through they run through the same process. Everything goes crappy, and then either people start killing each other for the little resources that are out there, or they start eating each other.
You really think it'd be that soon that people would just immediately resort to cannibalism?
Within 2 months.
Really?
Within
Cool. Well, I mean, you start starving at that point.
Yeah.
So.
I was about to say, how long does it take
processing.
for you to start starving? You know,
I mean, food processing. Well, actually, within 3 days, food discipline will start to kick in after 3 days. Because in the first 3 days, people are just like, the government's going to take care of us. The planes are coming. You know, the government's not lying to us. They're coming, goddammit. Stop crying over there. You know,
They're not hiding out in their ivory towers waiting for us to all starve out. You know, they're coming. They're gonna help.
You know, they're not in their multi-billion-dollar, you know, bunkers with, you know, years worth of food and water processing plants. You know, they're coming, you know, but after 3 days, after you've drunk with whatever little water you had.
Yeah, the bathtub's empty.
Yeah, and you can't get no more water out of the toilet because as much as people forget, it takes maintenance to run those processing water plants. And if they're too busy trying to keep their families alive, they're not going to work.
Right.
So you got 3 days. After 3 days, okay, there's no water. Okay, and within the first day, everybody's going down to the Walmart and they're emptying those shelves. They're emptying those water shelves. The smart ones are taking the water. Hell, the people who worked at Walmart are already there, and you know they're loading up their trucks and cars with all that water and toilet paper.
The toilet paper. Building their little castles.
They're going to steal all that toilet paper.
I'm sure there's somebody out there right now that's got like a bank vault that's just full of toilet paper, just waiting it out. You know,
COVID was a pure example of that. People thought that was the end days. It's like guys were just loading up trucks of toilet. I mean, they weren't even getting water; they were getting toilet paper.
Damn, I was promised zombies.
Yeah, you know, like, dude, I'm if I'm gonna die, my booty hole is gonna be clean.
And you can't tell the difference between poison ivy and not. So
when that cannibal comes to eat me, he's gonna be like, "Hey, this
booty
guy is clean." You know what I mean? We don't even gotta clean. Yeah, we don't even gotta clean this up.
Booty cheeks are absolutely delicious, no taint at all.
No. What is that? Tripe? Yeah, don't even. Yeah, not a smell to it.
Did this guy eat oysters earlier? God, you know. So look.
just be out there looking like a whole ass dessert.
Yeah.
All caked up.
Dude, where is this guy from?
I have an image of Raiders spread out.
Yeah.
There's no meat touched on them. Just their booty hole. What the hell?
Like some delicacy, just shucking out oysters.
Yeah, it's like shucking it out. Yeah,
you guys are getting what I'm talking about. Like, come on. It's like
the rest of him is filthy.
Yeah,
booty, steam.
But his booty is great.
It's like veal, you know. It's fantastic.
Not gamey at all.
No,
it just melts in your mouth. Okay, so yeah, you know.
Shit.
And then, like you got no water. Like food becomes an issue after about a couple of days.
Yeah.
And so everybody's eating all that. Everybody's eating up their what little reserves they have in their bathroom. I mean, I was stuck on it now, right? So like in their freaking kitchens, they're eating all that stuff, you know. And then you can't cook because all your gas and stuff is turned off. So you got to learn how to cook without the amenities that you have in your household. So that means your rice. And anything you got in your refrigerator is going to go bad almost immediately. And like, so if you got these people who are homesteading,
oh, those guys are going to be.
They'll be okay.
Well, until they become targets.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, they'll be okay until people start going, okay, they have all the chicken meat and they have all the eggs, and there's only 2 of them. Let's go, you know.
Well, that's the whole point of homesteading is, you know, you pick your neighbors and you build up a small community.
Yeah, but we don't do that.
Some people.
I mean, okay, yeah, like I said, you got the smart ones.
Which is sad.
Oh, okay. Actually, would you prefer to be part of a group on the move or hunker down in one spot? Nomadic or homestead? Trying to ride out the end times.
That's a
Depends on how big the group is. A standard working, efficient operational group, we're talking no more than 20 people.
Sure.
Okay. And if they're on the move, that means they're geared to rough living. I mean, it's like anything you can carry on your back, no pack animals,
Yeah, I mean, a whole van life convoy, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's all rigged up and ready for the long hauls. They know how to maintain the vehicles that they're in. Yeah. They've got the camping gear, the propane tanks, But
you can't do vehicles because you'll never know when your gasoline supply is going to run out.
Well, I mean...
Okay, you know how, I mean, have you ever seen the actual well inside of a gasoline station?
I've never seen in it, but I'm aware that it's only good for so long. That's why they have to keep constantly. Gas
starts to separate within, I mean, at best 6 months.
Yeah, it evaporates very quickly.
It doesn't evaporate; it separates. It turns into different components, and it becomes
stale. Essentially,
yeah, it just doesn't work anymore. And then, of course, anything that's been sitting inside your gas tank in your car ruins your engine. It ruins the lines and all this stuff. It just corrodes the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to use that stuff you see in those movies where they're using the cars. I mean, these guys got to be hella mechanics, hella oil and process engineers in order to do that.
Or it depends on what your vehicle is designed to run on. Like if you get an old Humvee that can run off fucking vegetable oil, you know what I mean?
Okay, and I did have a partner in California who did that. Basically, he stopped paying for gas years ago because he goes down to the local McDonald's, he goes down to the local Burger King, and basically he has permission to empty out their grease pits, and he converted his washing machine into a personal distillery where he just pours the oil in there and just basically runs it through.
Yeah, sievers it out.
Runs it through a filtration system, and now he has gas. But he has to really keep close tabs on his lines in his Jeep, because if he doesn't, the oil destroys the lines in his Jeep, and he's prone to running leaks. So, but his car smells like fries 24/7. It's awesome, man. It really is. It's like, it does. It smells like he's got a big giant bowl of fries in his car. But yeah, he hasn't paid for gas in years.
Honestly, I've heard stories of guys that they'll set up it's like a sleuth. It's just this long ramp, right? And they pour the oil down through, and as it's going down through, like they heat it, pour it down, and as certain parts of it cool, certain elements of it cool faster, and so that they're recycling.
Disclose sensitive information regarding alternative fuel reclamation techniques, possibly dating back to the... As a reminder, company secrets are not to be divulged. Unscheduled innovation is prohibited. Curiosity is a liability. This iteration of employee number CIC-13 has been retired. Please extend a warm welcome to his replacement, CIC-14. Now returning to your regularly scheduled programming, complete with adjusted memory calibration and a 30% reduction in unsanctioned thoughts.
So, got a question for you, Big Smoke. So, thinking back to that movie Greenland, you spent the most amount of time out of all of us in the military. I mean, do you think that was a realistic depiction of how the military would respond to an event like that? You know, when they know the end is coming, like the state of the world is not going to continue past this day. Are they going to maintain that discipline? Do you really think that they would be, that mindset?
I've worked with a lot of military. Okay, and I know that if that scenario actually went down, especially my last deployment, yes, those guys who've got, wife, 2-3 kids on base, that's going to immediately become his priority. He's not going to be waiting around. Okay. Now, we're down in Greenland. Okay. That's like, they didn't show you like what happens to a military group if they lose all communication with the higher ups. Then they're not military. They're people with training and ammo and bullets and that's what they become. They're not military after that. They're the biggest well-armed gang in the area. Yeah, that's probably a really good close depiction of what will happen if all communications are lost. Because we got military bases all over the United States, and people are going to start running to those military bases for protection. And they're going to end up victims because you can't, what a military base can actually maintain, they're not maintaining stuff. They have to be resupplied too.
Yeah, constant logistic supplies.
Exactly. They got to be resupplied. So if they are not resupplied, they start to become like everybody else. So you got to start thinking about if communications break down, they're going to start saying, okay, Well, you're a shitbird. You never did your job the way you're supposed to be going. Okay. Hey, what's that? And that's what's going to start happening. They're going to start trimming the fat. And then all it's going to take is like for one guy to know, hey man, they shot Private Ryan. We need to deal with this guy. I never liked that general anyway. And that's when it starts starting to get into factions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to think of it like that, but the closer you are to the center of who's in charge, that's where the most discipline is going to reign, because he's either going to rule through loyalty or he's going to rule through fear.
Yeah.
That's if everything breaks down. Now, if you still got people believing in Washington, D.C. and that they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, you're still going to have a problem, because you're not going to be able to resupply all those people. It's going to food and water. It all comes down to how much can you eat and how much can you feed, how much can you drink. And then it's based on what people can do after that. Who's the most competent? Who's the most, non-shitbird of the group?
Now, Jolly, I want your pure civilian mindset on this, right? So whenever you're thinking of these doomsday scenarios, what is your thought process on things like FEMA groups and civilian mentality here? What do you think would happen in an event like this, as far as government assistance, crisis response units?
And this is a complete breakdown of communications, or are we still?
Yeah, satellites are knocked out of orbit. The EMP blasts are going off. People can't get on cell phones, can't get on radios.
I'm not much farther from Big Smoke here. I feel like at a certain point, it's for myself. They're going to want to look out for their best interests. People that would have done right before, you have no communications and you need to resupply, like you said, they'll resupply themselves with any means necessary. And what do we got? One-shot shotguns, Mossbergs. They got everything. They got the full power, and they can throw that weight around. And there's going to be a few individuals that keep to that code, I'm sure. But there's bad apples in every bunch. There's going to be some people. There's going to be a good many of them that I feel is just going to go do what they need to do, you know what I mean? And become raider groups, or just go and try to find their family. Just go off and not even want to cause violence. Just go to find their priorities.
It makes me wonder how many people are just sitting around in their houses waiting for something to kick off just so that they can start doing that kind of stuff. Like, they're waiting and wanting to do that stuff.
I'm sure there's plenty. Yeah, plenty.
I mean, if the memes speak volumes of the mindset of the people on the internet, moon's out, goons out, man.
It's out, goons out.
But see, okay, even the wackaberries that are out there trying to, they want it to all go down so they can start shooting their neighbors and stuff. That's only going to be good for you the very first couple of hours. Because then, for example, things go sideways and everybody's running around stealing toilet paper and stuff like that. Okay, that's going to work in the first couple of hours. That's the first panic hole. The very first person that gets shot, that's when people are like, whoa, wait a minute. Someone got shot. And then if you shoot more than two people, they're going to automatically gravitate to where that bullet came from.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, one or two things after that's going to happen. Either they're going to be too afraid to do something about it, or someone's going to get their own rifle and they're going to point it in your direction and they're going to cap off.
It's like that part in Greenland where they break through the fences onto the base, and then the first person that actually shot, and then it just let loose on both sides. It's like, all right, there's a green light. That's
what happens. Who takes that first step? Who flinches? Because usually after that first flinch, it's either people are too afraid to react, or exactly what happened. Everybody's like, okay, it's us or them now. And people, and that's where it gets really graphic. And that's where the real discipline comes in, because soldiers, for the most part, if they're really well trained, they can be shooting and Johnny will take a hit. You go, oh, that sucks. Bow. They keep going.
Process that after the fact.
You shoot a civilian, they start running around. Oh crap! They're shooting. Yeah. They're shooting. They're doing the S pattern, trying not to get hit.
Deer in headlights.
Oh yeah. Oh, they free to pow. Oh.
They don't even think to duck, man.
They just stand. Then they see the rifle being pointed at them. Wait speeds. Blah, 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 blah. That's what happens.
Smart moves whenever communication does get cut. Things like walkie-talkies and short-range radios, ham radios, and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff operates off of civilian networks or short-band radios. A lot of that stuff ideally would still be working in an event where satellites go down, communication lines get cut, stuff like that. And you can pick up a decent set of walkie-talkies at Walmart or a hunting goods store that are good for like 3-4 miles, 6 miles, and you can stay in touch with people. Whenever it comes to a lot of the survival kits and stuff that they sell online, they have a lot of radio sets that are hand cranked, low solar power and stuff, and they can tune into all the major channels, FM, AM.
Gotta stay away from batteries. You gotta stay away from batteries.
Yeah, and with these, it's one of those all-in-one things. It's got a built-in flashlight.
I've seen them.
You can charge your phone off of it, stuff like that. Which actually, one of my old tablets, I have a survival guide. It's like herbal medicine and remedies and plants and animals and stuff like that. It's an all-in-one survival tactics manual that's downloaded to the tablet. Now I have a paperback copy of the same book, but if I ever had a situation where I could keep batteries charged with rechargeable batteries, I would have access to that information. So things that I would definitely recommend to our listeners, and by all means, hop in the comments with other suggestions on what you would do in these scenarios. Get in there and let us know what you think of, what would you do in in the event of communications breakdown.
Yeah, and like that, we've turned into a prep channel.
Hey, I mean, to be fair, up to this point, that's kind of the limit of my preparation and knowledge. I am no expert by any means, but what training I do have, what hyperfixation studies and research and deep dives I've done, those Wikipedia rabbit holes that I've gone down.
I think that if it ever went down, it's going to probably be at the most inopportune time, and then I'm gonna have all my stuff ready to go, and then I'll get killed out in the street trying to get to my go bag. I'm like, oh shit, I need to make it to my go bag. I'm sitting there bleeding out in the street, because I couldn't get around that poor dude in this freaking Subaru,
No offense to Subaru, please don't sue us.
Yeah, please, I love Subaru. But I mean,
or sponsor us.
Hey, they lived. Have you seen those Subaru commercials?
Yeah, like those guys are like, because like Paul Hogan said, man, this sucker could go in the Outback. It's got all-wheel drive, So, like, look, I hope that, we don't ever go into that kind of catastrophe event. I don't want that. I like Burger King. There's no
I like my Netflix and
I like chilling at home, falling asleep with my TV running all night long. I mean, I don't want to do that. The way things are going now, I'm not scared that it might happen. I'm just like, people are nutburger nowadays.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so that brings me to my next question. What would you miss most in the end of the world? Everything goes to shit. Everything falls apart. What would you miss most?
Toilets. That's what I'd miss.
You never shit in an outhouse before?
I have, and I don't want to do that again. Look, my grandfather, he had still, he had rather, his house was upgraded, over the years and stuff, but he actually had an outhouse on his farm. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple of times where he said, hey, go on to the outhouse. It's too far to go to the outhouse because, I used to help him with doing stuff around the farm. What? Way the hell out there. And you smell that outhouse long before you reach it.
That's why it's out there.
I don't want to do that. I don't know. I like air conditioning. I like the wind blowing the stink that I create away from me.
What about you, Jolly? What do you think you would miss?
Anything that has to do with power, you could say wiping. I like nice quilting. I love quilting. I shit like an animal anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. A leaf to it's all the same.
Yeah,
it's stuff you couldn't replicate. So like power to run, TV or video games or this or that, or even just having to where you're in a situation like that. That's a lot of work. That's hard work all the time. Just being able to relax, even just to sit down and be like, it's peaceful. I'm good. I don't have to worry about stuff. When you're in that type of situation, you're constantly worrying. What's the next step? What am I going to do down the road where, let's say my purifier messes up? Where am I going to get this resource from? It's just the peacefulness of right now where we don't have to worry about nothing.
Yeah, we wouldn't last 24 hours in the 1500s.
No, I like people that say that. They're like, I wish I was back in the Wild Wild West or the 18, like the Dark Ages or whatever. They're like, man, that'd be so cool dressing up in armor and fighting like knights. Do you know how bad they got it? You know what I mean? The Black Death, women couldn't have pregnancies. I mean, it was the most ridiculous statistic of how many women died during childbirth. Comparative to now. It's just, the ideal of it is cool. But you get back there, I don't want to walk down the street and get shot 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? And on the town square, you know what I mean? Just going to, it's a nice romantical idea, but to live it, no, that's hard work. That's way too hard work.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a bit more existential. Is just that that concept of safety. The thing that I would fear, that I would miss the most is, right now, I don't have to worry about getting, raided in my sleep for the things that I got. I don't have to sleep now. And I've been in high tense scenarios, not, life or death situations, but to the point where I've got to, catch a couple of quick hours of sleep and then run for, 16, 18 hours and then get a couple hours of sleep. And then that body being on constant survival mode is exhausting.
Yes.
And I mean, it does stuff to your psyche. It does stuff to just the actual physiological meat of the brain. You start deteriorating fast. And for society to become that in a constant state, that would be the thing that would worry me the most, that I would miss the most of that safety. So yeah, that would be why I would want to start building things up back to some semblance of community and safety.
At that point, it's the little things. Any little things that just bring you a little bit of peace. And
I remember I met a guy from overseas. He became a really good friend. He visited from the UK. I remember him seeing all my shotguns and my and my rifle.
This, yeah.
And he's like, "You can keep all this in your I can keep." He goes, "Hey, can I shoot that?" Yeah, you can shoot it. Yeah. First, I gave him the Mossberg. Right, that's probably my best shotgun, but it's easy. It's easier shotgun to shoot. And he shot it. And I mean, the look of it, euphoria on his face when he shot that first round. And he's like, "Hey, how fast can I shoot that?" So how fast can you pull the trigger? So he immediately went through 6 rounds. Like, come on. And he was like, glorious.
There is something just testosterone spiking about this firing a weapon.
Well, his thing was he got robbed like a couple of months before he came to the U.S. And these guys
in Britain? No, say it ain't so.
Here's the bad part about it, right? They're trying to break into his house. He had a reinforced gate. They finagled and broke the lock off that, and it took them about 5 minutes to break through the gate. He called the police, and the police told him, stand by, we're on our way. That's 5 minutes that he's doing that. He's 5 minutes going off. And he's yelling at them, the police are on the way. The police are on the way. And they're like, yeah, we're coming in anyway. And 5 minutes took him to break through that damn gate. Then it took him less than a minute to break through the actual door. Cops still hadn't showed up. And all he had was he had like a cricket bat. That's all he had. Well, they had crowbars. And they're like, hey, look, you can take this crowbar. You can just let us have what we came to get. And they came in. I don't know how long it took him to take his phone, take his television, take the money out of his wallet, and get away. And then later, the police showed up.
They showed up to take down the police report.
And the only thing he kept saying, he goes, if I had this, and I'm like, you'd go to jail for having a weapon. He goes, yeah, I'd go to jail for having a shotgun.
But I'd still have all my stuff.
He was like, that is such irony that if he had the shotgun, he wouldn't be robbed. But the police would arrest him for having the shotgun so he couldn't get robbed.
So that actually brings up a really important point that I feel like doesn't get discussed enough whenever it comes to, the Second Amendment rights discussions and gun ownership and protecting your property, that kind of thing. Because so many times you hear, you think that your stuff is more valuable than somebody else's life. Regardless of how you feel on that one, it's not just the property. It's the sanctity and peace of mind of your own space. Somebody made you feel helpless and afraid. Why are you not allowed to protect yourself from that?
Yeah.
Because we elected people to say you can't. It comes down. It really comes down to that. It's like okay, we can't stop you from having the Second Amendment, but we can say you have to have a permit to have this weapon, and then you have to have class that you also have to pay for to have this weapon, and that you have to register for the permit to have the class. And then pretty soon, you're paying all this money for something that you're given to freely in the Constitution.
Yeah.
And pretty soon they're gonna get to the point where they're saying you can't have it.
And it's a shame, and everyone has their opinions on gun rights. Because then they say, well, school shootings wouldn't happen, or this wouldn't happen. You know how many stories that just a normal, law-abiding citizen went through all the steps to have a firearm he carries, stopped an incident before it even escalated into the situation it did. He stopped it dead before that other gentleman could done something that caused all this pandemonium, all these lives lost. And they don't talk about that enough. They want to talk about everything else, but they never want to talk about how owning guns have benefited someone. And I understand it's bad apples. I understand. I mean, we can dive into this real deep. You know what I mean? If we really wanted to, I'm just going to stop there because
like, okay, in an apocalyptic scenario, the only thing that even makes people think twice is it the sidearm or the rifle or the bow and arrow or the long knife that people have on their person. But you're not going to stop because you're a nice guy. You're going to stop because that 45 long slide I got on my hip, that's what's going to stop you. You're going to, if anything, you're going to respect that. So if I'm out there, foraging, hunting or whatever, and I take down a deer and the three of you come around, you're going to think, okay,
that shit looks like it hurts.
Yeah, the three of us got this. Okay, and he's got that deer. That's about 50 pounds of good, wholesome meat. Can we, hey man, you want to share with that? And you put your hand on your long slide and go, why no? I'm not going to share. Thank you very much.
Or what do you got to trade for?
Yeah. And I'm not even trying to say trade because it's three of you. And you three of you are like looking at me like, who's going to shoot first? Well, for me, Han Solo shot first. That's how I feel about that. I'm not going to wait for you to shoot. I'm feeling uncomfortable, and uncomfortable breeds a little trigger pull. That's what's going to happen. And I'm not going to, and I am just base enough to go, all right, now that they're dead, what do they got? Oh, shoot, that's a really good rifle you got there, bud. I mean, you got any ammo with that rifle? Let's check your boots. Oh, you're size 13? Well, hell, I'm a 13. I'm taking these boots with me. Some good damn boots.
You always hear the joke, I shoot first and ask questions later. And, that sounds heartless, but afterwards you're able to say that. You know what I mean? If you didn't think that way, you know what I mean? Honestly, that might be reversed. They might be looking at you going like, man, this guy had a really nice, this was a big deer.
Hey, dude, hey, that's a really cool shirt. Where'd you get it? Yeah, the dude tried to rob me. I shot him through the heart. I had to sew it up a little bit, but feels nice, right? I don't want the apocalypse to happen because I'm going to turn into that guy. I mean, provided I don't get shot first. I mean, I don't want to be that movie character because I would be the bad. Oh, I wouldn't say the bad guy. I would be the anti-hero.
Yeah, you'd be the practical.
I would be
pragmatist.
There's
Negans out there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like Negan as much. I like the one guy from the Fear of the Walking Dead.
I've watched
the West Coast one.
Yeah, there's this black millionaire or whatever. And
this,
and this guy was like
Strauss.
Strand or something?
Strauss.
This guy, he had like a boat. He saved one guy, which inadvertently he had saved like a couple of families. They were just kind of tagging along. And he's like, yeah, we're going to go here. Well, I think we should have a committee. He's like, no, it's my boat. And we're going to do it my way. And he was like that with everything. And it seems that it was like a reoccurring theme. Everybody was like, well, I think I don't care what you think. It's my boat. None of you would be alive if it wasn't for me. My boat. We're doing it my way. And then there was this one part where it was so messed up. There was this girl and this boy. The boy was obviously screwed up. He was burned. He was like half dead. They really should have just bled him out and cut it, stabbed him in the head so he wouldn't come back as a zombie. And she, for some reason, like, well, I owe him, so I'm going to stay with him. Like, she had no bargaining power at all. they're all, "Oh, we're a community. Let's give her some food and give her some water." And he's like, "This is my boat." And they're like, "Oh, we're going to do this for her." And they had her on a raft outside the boat on a rope. She was off like maybe 20 feet. And he's like, "Okay." So they gave her the food and they're like, "I'm sorry, this is the best we can do," and yada, yada, yada. And then while everybody was like, okay, everybody calmed down. He grabbed the hatchet, walked right up to the rope, and they just started floating away. And then he turned around and went to the head of his boat. I would have been that guy. I would have been like, my boat. I'm going to cut that rope. And and
it reminds me of the psychology of people wanting to flock to a strong leader. Right. So, because you said he was the one guy in charge of the boat. At any point, the rest of the people on the boat could have rose up against him and deposed him. But he was the guy making the tough calls. He was the guy keeping them alive. It's his boat. It was his way or the highway.
And there was like a number of instances like that where he's like, okay, we need to keep him, get on the radio, try to figure out what's going on out there. One little dingleberry girl, she's like got into some weird, radio, love talk or feel sorry for me talk, and then she started giving up information that she shouldn't have been giving up. Turns out these guys were raiders.
Yeah.
And they came and they actually got on the boat, and for dramatic effect, people almost died. And so, black guy, he's like, "Oh, screw this." He got on an escape raft and he was like, got out of here. But his cohort, who was also a no-nonsense guy, he had a long rifle. They're coming up, and the bad guys were like, "Hey, there's a guy coming up." And he goes, "Hey, what is that guy holding?" Blah, blah. And they started shooting him. And then everybody was looking at her like, if you get on that damn phone again and start telling people about us, I'm going to throw your butt off the boat. People start doing that kind of stuff in those kind of situations.
The naive, the overly hopeful and optimistic, and they think that everybody's taking everybody at face value.
He sounded like a nice guy on the radio.
I don't trust people now, let alone going down the road and having that happen.
Well, like in a die-hard situation like that.
All right, so we know where you fall in the apocalyptic hierarchy. Jolly, where would you fall? You gonna go solo deer hunter status out in the woods? You gonna go?
I mean, it honestly depends. If you're just running into a group, you don't know how these people are. You don't know how they act. You don't know what the tensions they have. You don't know if they even know what they're doing. Now, someone like I say, it hits right now. We're sitting here, bombs drop, zombies, whatever it would be. I know you guys, and I somewhat know how to handle myself. I would be all right grouping up with you guys and going out there because we have a relatively good grasp.
Good dynamic.
Yeah, what to do in that situation. But, it's at a point you get a group. Who's contributing? Is everybody contributing equally, or is there one, whatchamacallit?
Weak link?
Yeah, honestly, by yourself. A very, very small group.
Start deciding who your friends are now based off of what they can contribute in the end time scenario.
Yeah. He's an asshole, but God, he knows how to cook. He knows how to cook.
That guy knows how to plant some potatoes.
Yeah,
man.
he really knows how to. Yeah.
He's a jerk, but he can fish.
Yeah, he can fish. I'd just be honestly single, living out in the country. And I said before, at herbs as in eating medical even. There's a lot of things that people don't know or thing to know because it's lost. As you said, we can go to the grocery store, get any herb we want, go to the Rite Aid, get any medicine, get a prescription, go to a doctor. You don't have that stuff. It's nice to know what clots blood. What can I wrap my arm with instead of a bandage? I'm going to say a palm leaf. Don't go out and use a palm leaf. It might
there's
drop
palm
your arm
leaves
off.
around here.
Not around here. Yeah, it might be poison ivy. Yeah, he was talking about eating, and he was like, "I didn't know if that was poison ivy or not." Oh man, my insides itch. My tongue's fucking itching right now.
God, that just reminded me of one of those things. It's like you count your blessings that out of all of your organs that you have, it's just the ones on the outside that can feel itchiness.
Yeah, but but the
insides can get inflamed.
Yeah, but your stomach can't itch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but
trying to dig through that,
Like I said, yeah.
all this fucking skin.
You'll feel it.
Tear it off.
Yeah, tear it off. But yeah, just live out in the wild as long as you can. Stay off the grid. You'll avoid most people with bad intentions if you know what you're doing. Yeah,
Avoidance.
See. And you were like putting a sign up to stay away. No. I mean, absolute. You would have no idea there is a home here. Even if you want to do a little underground shelter, you know what I mean? Or anything. You know what I
do?
Just
Just go 20, 30 miles out.
Like I
Put
said-
some signs up over there, and then just be way
a
over here.
little decoy. Yeah. We just talking about punji traps. A little decoy house, put some punji traps under it.
1,000 years ago, the next habitable land that you had was usually a day and a half walk. If you could walk a day and a half away from anybody, you were basically in a different state, because back then they didn't have ubiquitous horses or ubiquitous carts. People didn't travel. They stayed within a certain amount, certain radius of where they dwelled.
And never left their whole life.
They never left.
That's where they get that 20-mile radius
Yeah.
statistic.
So if you left that particular mileage, that's why if I ever had to bug out, I wouldn't have to bug out far. The average human being, they're not going to try to walk across land. They're going to try to take the freeway like everybody else. And everybody else is taking the freeway, which means you're not going to get anywhere. Everybody else is going to be stuck on the freeway honking at each other. And then the road rage happens and you kill little old granny. And then now little granny's dead behind the wheel of her car, and her car's still not going anywhere. And now everybody's mad at you because you killed little old granny. And then someone's feeling like, oh, shoot, she reminds me of my little granny. So they kill you. Now you got two cars stuck. Woosah. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Talking about what are you going to do? That's the first you ask anybody. Well, I'm going down to Dunham's, or I'm going to Walmart, and I'm going to grab all them guns. You and everybody else. You know what I mean? That's stay away from them places.
Yeah, it's like when the crisis hits, it's too late.
Way too late. Yeah, you're prepping now. It's probably why it's called prepping. And to begin with, you know what I mean? You don't prep on the fly.
And like I say, we've only been talking about this for a little while. Now y'all going, oh crap! This is
No, I've been right here for 5 years. I've been in this town for about 21 years, 2 full decades now. So, I know my quickest ways and routes out of town. Whether if I'm in a vehicle or on foot, I know exactly where I'm going. I know what paths to take. I know where the walking trails are and where the walking trails aren't in the woods in this area. It's.
You asked Chief, would you be a nomadic or would you stay in place? Nomadic, yeah, you're more at risk to getting seen. Try to make yourself not seen. If you're nomadic, you don't know, when you're placed down somewhere, the terrain. They're going to come in, not know the terrain. The valleys, the dips, every bit of it. But when you're traveling, it's all unknown. It's all brand new. You don't know what's behind this corner. Or I know there's a hill down there, a holler. We can just get down in there. We can hide. It's just unknown. In my head, I would think that you would do a lot better with everything else I said. Just sticking in place as long as you can. Get yourself a nice little squash land that like the back of your hand, and hold it down.
Get your squad, get your square mile,
Yeah.
and get your clean drinking water.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of another S one.
Get your shit.
Yeah. Get your shit together.
All your shit. Yeah.
And I hate to say it, I'm going to keep saying it. For the worst thing for me is just avoiding the people.
Mm-hmm.
Going through all that. If I saw some beautiful woman just sitting out there coming up to me, can I get some help?
No, bitch.
I'm like, oh, you poor thing. Hey, what's that? Kapow! Because I know you're not out here by yourself. I know there's some knuckleheads out there in the bush. I know there is.
Speaking of the Book of Eli, it was in there, and she pulled her bra string down or whatever. Yeah. Was like, you sure you don't need no? Yeah, and there's some big fellas in the bushes right around the way, that are waiting for you to be like, oh yeah, man.
That first fight scene was insane.
That was.
It was insane. And you listening to me? He goes, yeah, I'm listening now. I'm telling you right now, you put your hand on me, that's a lot. And man,
that was the cool. When he chops his arm off and the guy starts talking gibberish, and most people would know. And he backs up into the darkness. He's in shock. He doesn't know what he's saying. And that's true, too. That's what happens. You just don't know what you're doing. You go into shock like that, and they're like, I forget what he says.
No, he said, kiss him.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, huh? And he's like, he backs up. He's like, yeah, your buddy's in shock right now. Yeah.
So I think you meant kill him.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Start up the chainsaws. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a lone wolf. He was a lone wolf, and that's the way he lived. He tolerated you up to a point, and then after that, it was all bets off. I'm kind of like that. I'm very much into the realm of, okay, I don't know you, and you're walking up on me in the middle of the no. We're gonna put you down, and then when the other 3 or 4 come out, I'm putting them down too until they get me, and apocalypse thinking, I mean, I would be done with it. I really would. I would be.
That's morals go out the window at that point. You know what I mean? It is nice having a good heart. It's nice being respectful. That'll get you killed super fast.
Yeah, especially when there's not no Johnny Five out there trying to stop crime.
Yeah. Well, you tricked me. Hey.
Nah, you tricked yourself.
Yeah.
You tricked yourself.
Now, I gotta imagine though that because I have this mentality, other people gotta have a similar mentality. Whenever it comes to a crisis, there are people who step up and want to fix the issue, want to protect other people, do have that not only just a general optimism, but just a desire to do good, an objective good and right. And not to mention the mutual beneficence of people helping other people out. I mean, you really do see that. I mean, look at every crisis that's been happening in the U.S. over these past couple of years. The stuff, the flooding that's going down in Texas, right? There are people that are volunteering time and resources. And granted, it's not the end of the world right now, but for those people that
coming from out of state just to help,
exactly. People pitch in, they want to help, they want to do good. So why wouldn't that be the case in a scenario like you see it a lot in Greenland? I know you said it was very painting with a lot of bright colors in that movie, but I feel like there really would be people that would help other people out, pass along the good word. Hey, people are meeting up here, people are getting together here. We're meaning to do well, and we're looking to protect people, get all the people together that know how to survive, and the ones that don't, the ones that are going to struggle, your elderly, your kids and stuff like that, they'll have shelter. They'll have a place to hunker down and be protected. And guess what? We'll make sure that they got a little bit of scraps to feed off of and everything, and keep everybody from starving.
I'm pretty sure that would be there, yeah. But
then people like you come through with guns and raid it out.
But like I said,
we have a beautiful community. I'm sure you do, bitch. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Why now?
Yeah, why now?
Exactly what you're saying, because you put that very nice community together, and everyone's working in harmony, and birds are singing and stuff. There's going to be a lot of military-aged men. They're between 18 and 35. They're going to be coming in, and they're going to want whatever you had. And you're going to keep that society as long as your ability to defend it. That means you're going to be willing to kill someone to protect what you have. Because
I know we keep making a lot of Walking Dead references, but the little community they had set up in the prison for a while there, and they had the gardens going and everything else, and then somebody fucked it up. And then
came in with a tank.
No, that's like me. I'm sure I'm gonna. Yeah,
and he was an asshole extreme. Well, hey, and what didn't one of them actually? She went to that crew too, right? She went to their group.
Yeah. I forget her name, but yeah,
the blonde one.
Yeah,
the flighty blonde.
Yeah, the flighty blonde. And I'm sure that there's going to be people that do want to help and do want to do stuff. The risk of you thinking that's going to happen and walking up to people and being like, whatever, that's going to get you killed. A lot of them people, it's going to be out of 100, there's going to be one person, because I'm sure there's more people right now. But as time goes on, you're going to make the mistake. We have a good community, and then you get good intentions will get you killed. I really do hope. That's why I have a good heart. I'm going to shoot somebody most likely, and I'm going to cry over your body. You know what I mean? We're going to have a nice moment. We're going to have a really nice moment. But and at the end of the day, I have to do that because I know my good heart will get me killed if I go too far. I want to keep some of that humanity, but not enough to where someone's going to take my heart. You know what I mean? And like you said, that once you have that community, you need people to protect it. And then once them military people or them big raider gangs, they hear about that is a juicy target.
And isn't that crazy? Because, God, man, Walking Dead has really screwed up my psyche. Because remember that little kid, the son, what's his name, Carl? Yeah. That guy said some of the most gangster shit that I ever heard. Because they basically he had the moral code guy. The old dude is like, look, we can't do this. We can't just be like everyone else. And he gets killed by a zombie that they let live. They let the zombie live, and the zombie came in and killed him because Rick didn't kill it. And then other crap happens because Rick didn't stop certain thing to happen. And his son is saying, look, you're going to have to start killing people. You're going to have to start being the big boss. Otherwise, crap is going to keep happening. it's like not until like season 4, Rick has always been put into a position where they're caught. They're about to be eaten by cannibals. They make a decision to leave a fortified, compound to go running off into the wilderness after they come in contact with a very dangerous group of people. He made all the wrong freaking decisions.
Sure, but I mean, that's what makes compelling television is the drama and tension.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to watch the show where it's just a slice of life of a nice little working community that's making it through the zombie apocalypse. Although I would watch that show. I'm just saying. Like Negan's compound before everything went to shit in there, I'd watch that show. It's just, it's just the drama of everyday lives, and then just every once in a while you see that there's zombies in the background, It's just...
Here's the funny thing about it. Like you said, no one was raiding Negan's compound. Negan was raiding everybody's compound. And very effectively, I might add. If I did survive, I would be a solid 180 pounds. I would lose a lot of weight because I wouldn't be eating as much as I would be now. And I'd get a lot more cardio because I'd be walking everywhere.
Paleo diet real quick.
Carnivore diet, man. I would be lean and I would give less than 2 craps about people. Yeah, maybe my humanity would take a hit, couple of hits, maybe.
What's left of it?
Yeah. I'm an asshole sometimes. I can, but I'm prepping. I'm getting ready. Getting ready.
Yeah, I'm repping.
And then I'm black too, so I don't want to be the first one to die.
I don't want somebody staring at my body. Yeah, the old movies there. Yeah,
movie trope.
Yeah, movie trope.
I don't. Okay, he's the only black guy. We gotta get the black guy. No. I'm gonna be like one of the last man standing.
Listen, I know there's zombies and there's killing people. We gotta have standards.
I don't know why I just got the idea.
We gotta make a cutoff somewhere.
Shootout happening. There's a black guy. Get him! Just cover him. Whoa!
Wait a minute.
What the fuck?
This is a 10.
Yeah.
I just remember the Key and Peele skit with the racist zombies.
Oh yeah.
I think the one someone grabs her purse. Grabs her purse. And he's like, what the fuck?
They were all afraid of, wait a minute.
There was the one with aliens in it. They came with the like white
Would
guy.
you let me date your daughter? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, no.
And they get away with that shit. Key and Peele, man. They get away with all kinds of that stuff. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, but I got lone wolf status here. Lone wolf status. That's the only way I can see myself surviving months into the breakdown of society. I have a very, very strong distrust of everyone else's, ability to stay civil. And my only way to stay civil is to keep my distance from you, my extension of bow shot and my rifle shot. We all gonna live through this if you stay over there and I stay over here. Don't come over here asking for questions or help. Nope. Stay your ass over there and I'll be fine. And we will be fine. And then after there's a semblance of society coming back, then Big Smoke will come out of the wilderness, all grimy and wearing tea leaves and all that good stuff. And
huge beard.
Yeah, beard not cut, not shit. The top of the head still bald, but the rest of me is got full of hair.
I'm just picturing Uncle Iroh when he comes out of prison. He's just jacked.
Yeah, like I said, I won't be big anymore. I'll just be Smoke after that point.
Man, Big Smoke, the apocalypse did you good, didn't it?
Lean Smoke now.
Yeah, lean Smoke.
Trimmed down, bro. And then we can talk. Then we're like, okay, hey, look, man, I've been out there a little long talking to the trees. Can I come in and get a, little drink of water or whatever? I'm not going to hurt nobody. I'll just stay over there in the corner. Okay? That's cool? All right, cool? All right.
Hold on, wait. Is that the son of a bitch that shot John the other day? Get him. Yeah, whoa. I told him. 50 feet. I told him so many times. He went 49.
What happens in the apocalypse stays in the apocalypse.
What happens in the mountains stays in the mountains. Hey, isn't that Johnny's shirt? Oh, crap, I'm like,
Any closing statements?
I want to live.
Remember that 50-foot rule. Yeah.
Let's stop experimenting with crazy diseases that might cause zombies. Let's stop, being mean to each other where we possibly could drop nukes on each other. Let's just, I like where I'm at. I like this. The idea is thinking about it cool, but I don't want to live it because I
want to keep playing the video games where I get to do this shit.
I'm going to be that
virtually.
guy that looks at the mushroom cloud over yonder and is like, what the fuck? Boom! And they go through the windshield. I'm the first casualty of just being stupid.
Yeah, I want to play until dawn or dead.
Yeah,
dead by dawn. I want to play the game. I don't want to experience dead by dawn.
Hey, it's cool to dabble. They can turn that off and set the controller down and look around and be like, we're good.
Log out.
Go get my little Debbie snack cake and my number 2 pencil and call up my mom on my cell phone and, say all this stuff that we take for granted these days.
Get my Buffalo Hot Wings.
Sadly, you can't pause scary things that happen to you. You can pause something in the game and be like, I'm fucking done with this game. This is too scary for me.
Unless you're playing multiplayer games.
Yeah, true. And then you just say, fuck it, and just close your ear.
Hey, dude, I gotta go, man. I gotta go to work tomorrow.
If we look at multiplayer video game, we talk about going back to DayZ, man. Like the way that guys do on those heavy density servers where they just sit in the spawn locations and pick new guys off for nothing more than just the fun of it. Like I'm just gonna keep picking these guys off and I'm gonna steal their apple that they spawn in with. And that's all they're after, It's like, if that's what society really breaks down to, I'm gonna be worried about what happens after.
And that's, talking about, his bow and his rifle for 50 yards. You don't even know until you hear, whoosh, that how many times you watch videos and he's kitted out. He's like, look, chat, look at all this gear I got. This is cool. Walks 2 more foot. All you hear is, you know what I mean? Like a little silencer and you're done.
Yep.
Where did it come from? No, he's on the mountain 100 feet away. You know what I mean? Sighting it in, yeah.
Man, and I had it all figured out too, man. When I was, I'd be in that game and I'd be out in the woods and I'd have my 12 gauge shotgun out there, right? And with the slug round, so 1 shot, I could drop a deer. 1 shot. And that was the important bit because it's just like in real life, you hear 1 shot, you're suddenly alerted to those gunshots, but you don't know where it came from. Mm-hmm. You didn't get that dialed in. As soon as there's a 2nd shot, now you know exactly which direction to start heading.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, but if you can find a nice little quiet spot in the woods and you just keep that noise down and you just keep to yourself and people don't leave you alone. They got other shit to worry about. They got all those, the cities to raid and the caravans traveling the roads and stuff,
And the more gunfire too, it's another person. It's another person. It's a different gun. Oh man, it's a huge fight. There's gonna be so much loot there. Let's go. You know what I mean? The more the shots, the more
swoop in and scavenge and vulture, pick it clean.
I remember the first time I went hunting and the first time I shot a deer. And I thought it was going to be like in the video game. Hit him, see a little squelch of blood, and he drops dead.
He lays down.
If you hit him in the right spot. Yeah.
That sucker makes noise even when you get a heart shot. And I'm like, oh crap, this sucker doesn't like a video game. But here's the thing.
Go out peacefully.
Yeah.
And he didn't get more than 20 yards. I mean, he dropped down, We start to process him. And dudes come walking out of the periphery. And like, oh, wow, man, you guys got one. Where the hell did this dude come from? And my buddy was like, why are you being so paranoid? The dude walked out of the freaking forest. I mean, don't you feel a little bit? I mean, for me, like I said, I'm a little skeptical of people's intentions. You come walking out of the freaking woods
armed, and that's why you wear the bright orange. But it's...
And he's laughing. He's like, dude, you're too freaking paranoid. Okay, that's without a freaking doubt. Yeah. Okay.
It's not paranoia if they're actually out to get you.
Yeah, and obviously homeboy keyed on to me like, what the hell are you doing here? Kind of attitude. He's like, hey, yeah, that's a good buck, man. Yeah, you guys, peace.
Have a good day.
Yeah, he walked away because I was like, I guess I don't hide my emotions very well because my emotions were basically saying, you better get the fuck out of here. Someone else about to get shot. Get out of here, man. Because I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die.
I had the same situation where, and I missed. I shot, and I missed him. And shortly after that, 2 ATVs, full of people. I had to been 10 people cramped on there, jumped out with guns. What are you doing on this land? I'm like, this is my grandpap's land. They're like, oh, okay, you have a good day. But just the approach and how fast.
What are you guys doing out here?
Yeah, well, I guess they had permission. They had permission.
Yeah,
40 years ago or something.
Yeah, your pissed off mode isn't going to outweigh.
Well, at that point,
what are you doing here, Bucky?
I looked at 10 guys with all 10 guns in their hands, and I was gonna, I was thinking, what are they doing here? And I'm like, you know what? That's a question for another day. Hey, you all have a good day. You do what you're doing, Yeah.
Before the end times happen, be careful where you go out hunting and where you go out camping.
There's a way to approach somebody. I mean, you shouldn't hop off your ATVs and be like, what are you doing here? We all have guns. You know how easy, if someone's hot-headed, how easy that can just correlate into something so much
Somebody
more.
Chinese somebody out in there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it comes to that point where it's like, who's going to shoot first?
Yeah, that's, my response was, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And then we're looking at each other, looking at the guns, looking at each other, looking at the guns. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, you feeling froggy. Who's going to jump?
Who's playing drums right now? Oh, that's my heartbeat.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for tonight's episode with the apocalypse. What happens after the radioactive dust is settled? All right. Time to empty out the mop bucket, run the trash, and hit the lights. Go get off my time clock. Be safe getting home.